First of all, I'm Paul Kramsky. I'm President of Rockin Regulatory, just like rock and roll. I don't play any musical instruments, so I just want to say that up front. But I want to thank Ircad for inviting me to lecture to you and to spend a few minutes talking to you about the FDA approval process in the United States. So I'm going to maybe drive you a little crazy initially and not follow the slides completely. So what I'd like to do is move to slide 6. So first thing I want to do is, and I'm going to focus on medical device regulations. As you know, the Food and Drug Administration is responsible for the regulation of all healthcare products, which include medical devices, drugs, cosmetics, dietary supplements now, and recently they're even regulating tobacco. So they are controlling pretty much every consumable health-related product, including tobacco in the United States. But I'm going to focus today on medical devices. So I'd like to start with the basics, and there's always a definition for medical devices. And I won't read it to you here, other than to say that it covers a broad range of medical devices, everything from a tongue depressor to a robotic surgery device. You know, surgical instruments are also considered to be medical devices. So the implications are, because the definition is very broad, FDA has a tremendous amount of discretion. They basically can interpret the definition any way they want, and that means that many devices which you may not necessarily consider as a medical device would fall into that category, such as a medical device software. On the surface, you may not think it's a medical device, but if it's used to diagnose, treat a disease or condition, it's considered a medical device. And because FDA has a considerable amount of discretion, they even if it's not a medical device, there are other aspects of food and drug law regulation which FDA can use to control a product. So, as an example here, products where it's not entirely clear that a product is a medical device, such as a sports monitor or home infant monitors, general purpose products are not. It's not clear that those are medical devices. And in the case where it's not clear if a product is a medical device or not, then there's a couple options. One is that you can talk to FDA and seek a regulatory opinion as to whether a product is a medical device. And FDA has the right to disagree with a sponsor's determination. And you can also request a meeting with the FDA or teleconference to discuss the status of a product. So, as I mentioned, FDA has jurisdiction over a wide variety of medical devices. They have a listing of classifications, which they call classification panels here on this slide. And as you can see, it covers all the medical specialties, 16 medical specialties to be exact. And the classification of a device is going to determine how much control FDA has over it. And it's a risk-based classification, which is very similar to the regulatory scheme in the European community, as well as other markets. So again, classification is based solely on the risk of the device. So there are 3 classes of medical devices: Class 1, 2, and 3. Class 1 being the lowest risk. I won't go into detail on this, but the general controls that all class of devices are subject to are listed here, and they include such things as medical device reporting, which is equivalent to your adverse event reporting in Europe, and quality systems, that is the control of your manufacturing environment. There are special controls, which are controls that Class 2 devices are subject to, and these may include such things as a performance standard or guidance documents. On this slide, just to make a point here that FDA has oversight over not only the pre-market activities for medical devices, they also have control over clinical research. There's clinical investigations of medical devices in the United States. They also have control over how a medical device is labeled and how it's advertised and promoted. And it all is related to the intended use of the product. In other words, how is the product used? More specifically, how the product is labeled and promoted in terms of its intended use.